Hi everyone, this is audap, and let's continue our game of Caffeine, Victoria's Legacy, running on Nintendo Switch. Alright. We only got page 1, right? Yeah. Tell me more about Shangri-La. What can you tell me about Shangri-La, Eve? That's my homeland. It's a beautiful place with heavenly landscapes. Our people are so proud of our country. That's why we always wear our traditional garments. In the past, our people were tea planters, but in recent centuries, we've become an industrial hub for airships, planes, and firearms. We even started to plant our own coffee beans. Hopefully we can become a coffee bean exporter very soon. I brought some of our locally grown coffee beans and have been trying to sell them to Victorian coffee houses. But they all want me to go to the coffee trading house to grade the coffee beans first. I say the hell with it. I don't have time to go through all the red tape. Not when I have a huge contract to fill. A huge contract? Fulfill a contract. So, what is this contract you're talking about? You don't know? Victoria is building a new dockyard in the Northern Peninsula. A new dockyard? I haven't heard anything about it. But it's no big surprise. I haven't been keeping up with the news of the city. I've been too busy running around it trying to improve my brewing skills. Once the new dockyard is built, it will increase the holding capacity of the harbor by double the amount. But the most exciting thing is the Crown will be fully in control. House Argyle will have no part of it. Do you know what that means? No more hefty tariffs. No more dealing with House Argyle and her underlings. It's great news for merchants like us, indeed. Alice did explain to me not long ago that House Argyle's controls the harbor. That's how they were able to enrich themselves and become the wealthiest house in Victoria. So it sounds like the construction of a new dockyard in the Northern Peninsula will be a direct challenge towards House Argyle. House Argyle won't be happy to hear about that. They already know. And of course, they're furious. But I doubt there's much they can do about it. The industrialists, as well as the other houses, have expressed their support towards the construction and have also allocated funds. That's why my salary for the next few months is already guaranteed. I can eat, drink, and be merry for the rest of the year once I've fulfilled my contract. So, what's your part in this project? Supplying heavy machinery and raw materials, and consultation. Shangri-La is a heavily industrialized state with the technological know-how, after all. You heard about the assassination? Did you know that Lady Argyle got assassinated? Lady Argyle? That devil got assassinated? Did you just call her a devil? She's not a good person, Taka. I still remember the suffering she caused during the Civil War. You were here during the Civil War? Yes, I was. I saw what she did, with my own eyes. I will never forgive her or her house. I would have preferred to see her go to prison instead. Who knows if she ever repented for her sins before she met her death. I can sense Eve's anger when she talks about the late Argyle. I wonder what kind of terrible things she saw. Come to think of it, didn't the Civil War happen a long time ago? Then Song Eve would still have been a little kid back then. She must have seen some terrible tragedy happen in front of her when she was little. I probably should be sensitive about this. And besides, it doesn't seem like she's got anything to do with her death. She looked too surprised when I broke the news to her. Also, the fact that she can continue to carry a gun around Victoria after everyone is so scared is telling. She either has no idea what's happening or is a mad serial killer who doesn't care what anyone thinks. I doubt she's the latter. I should ask Eve. That's all I want to ask. Here are all the pastries you ordered, Eve. Also complimentary tea for you. That's so generous of you. Oh, I know this tea. It's fermented tea from the Pura region. It's from my homeland. Yep, ripened dark tea from the Pura region, aged for 10 years in its original packaging. I know you'll like it. It has a nice red hue with a strong fruity scent. You really shouldn't be offering this for free. This is top quality tea leaves you're using here. I feel bad. It's alright. Most of our customers prefer the usual Earl Grey and English breakfast, so we have trouble selling it. I only bought the tea because my friend would have gotten scolded by her father if she couldn't sell any tea for the month. Oh, that's sad to hear. Wait, if he says it's high quality tea, how much did we pay Alice's friend? I feel like we're operating a charity here. Song Eve gobbles all the cakes and pastries in front of her with impressive speed. After she's finished with her pastry, she heads over to the wall of pictures, her eyes fixated on the blurry photo. That's an intriguing photo. I know, it's a very blurry picture of 4 people standing side by side with each other. Other than that, there's not much to say about the photo. You can barely make out anything else. Victor and Sarah sure look happy in this photo. Could you repeat what you just said? I said Victor and Sarah Knight are happy in this photo. You just mentioned my parents. Oh, I'm surprised. You are Victor and Sarah's son. You are Victor and Sarah's son? I didn't even know they had a son. But how would you know they're my parents? Even I couldn't tell. Because I've seen this photo before. Her answer's short, which only confuses me more. This little girl here has seen this photo before? Where? This could be an important clue. Where did you see this photo before? Please tell me. When we first took it. In fact, I'm the girl on the left. I must have misunderstood what she said, or else she's making fun of me. You're joking. There's no way that is you. What? Why don't you think that's me? First, take this photo. It's at least 20 years old. You would have been a baby back then. How could you... A baby? How old do you think I am? Wait, are you telling me... You greatly underestimate my physical age, but I take that as a compliment. No way. I take a closer look at the photo again. While the girl's face is totally blurred, her contours and gestures do resemble Song Eve's mischievous charisma. The more I look at it, the more she resembles Song Eve. Now that I look at the picture again, that is indeed you. I did hear that tea drinkers age really well. What should I say? You know my parents? Where's my mom? How do you know my parents? What happened to my mom? Do you know my dad? Who else knows my parents? What can you tell me about my parents? Or did my parents have enemies? Is my mom in trouble? I want to have what tea you're having. Good you told me, otherwise I might have made a move on you. Probably not this one. Wow, Eve. You need to let me know what kind of tea you drink. Perhaps I have finally discovered the secret of living past 100 years old. 100 only? You set really low goals for yourself, don't you? It's not uncommon to find tea drinkers past the age of 120. There are probably millions of people in the Empire of Tea who are over 100. Over 1 million? What is the Empire of Tea? What is this Empire of Tea you keep mentioning? You don't know the Empire of Tea? They're just north of Victoria. I know you rarely hear about them because they never leave the mountains and their bamboo gardens. They are one of the most peaceful peoples in the world. All they do every day is drink tea and discuss philosophy. The Empire of Tea. People who only drink tea and discuss philosophy. Sounds boring at first, but I guess that's a really calming lifestyle. Maybe if I can get Ocean and Mel to start drinking tea, they will slow down a little bit. Sometimes I just can't keep up. Wait, why am I getting distracted? You know my parents. That means you might know where they are now. I'm sorry, Taka. I don't know where your parents are. I've been trading in India and the Africas for the past 20 years. I'm equally surprised that your parents are missing. I didn't even know they had a son. But how did you know my parents? That's such a long time ago. I remember your parents came to Shangri-La for a visit. They were trying to find ideas to industrialize Victoria. They came to Shangri-La to search for technology to bring it back. My parents were looking for technology? Yes, which reminds me, the espresso machine you have on the counter. Didn't Victor invent that? My father invented the espresso machine? Yes, I remember he kept fussing about decreasing the time to brew a cup of coffee by decreasing the pressure. At first we thought he was crazy. But now everyone in the world is crazy about espressos. Your father is a truly amazing person. My father was amazing? I really didn't know. Victor and Sarah were nice people, so I'd be happy to help their son. However, I don't have any useful information for you right now. But if you can tell me everything you know, I might be able to ask my connections. I'll tell you everything I know, and you will help me find my mom? But I don't really know anything about my mom. Why don't we start with Victor? What's your father up to these days? I'll tell her everything except... What can I tell Eve? I'm not sure if I should tell her about the other world. Probably not, because Alice is here as well, and I haven't told her anything about where I came from yet. Well, all I know is that about my mom is that she left me when I was 6. That was also the year that we departed from this coffee house. My father, well, he usually dresses like a hippie in checkered shirts and denim jeans and has a long beard. Checkered shirts and denim jeans? Are you telling me he hasn't changed his attire all these years? What else do you know? I tried thinking about what other information was necessary for her to find my mom. I had a dream about my mom. She told me that she and Dad needed some time to think about things, so they separated. A dream? Well, they were more like memory fragments. And what happened after that? Did your parents get back together? No, they didn't. I remember my father crying, telling me my mom will never come back. I remember crying and crying until my father started beating me, shouting at me to be quiet. I'm so sorry, Taka. It must have been hard for you. Anyway, I'll do whatever I can. Please take care of yourself, alright? Oh, there's something else I want to ask, though. Who's the other guy in the picture? The person next to you? Oh, he's just someone I used to know. Someone you used to know? Song Eve utters those words with such indifferent apathy that I do not pursue further. Not long after, Song Eve leaves. I wander towards the corner and stare at the photo. For how long, I do not know. Taka, are you alright? You've been staring at that photo for hours. I'm sorry, Alice. I'm just trying to see if I can recall my mom's face. You don't know what your mom looks like? No, I don't. In my dreams, my mom's face is always a blur to me. I try hard to remember, but it's always a sad blur. How ironic. The only photo that I have of my mom is a blurred photo. It's even blurrier than the one in my memories. I guess this is fate, isn't it? The day draws to an end, and I slowly creep back upstairs with a heavy heart. Today's events put me off course, but I really need to focus. Yes, this is a big step towards finding out about my mom, but I can't let that distract me. Saving this coffee house comes first. It must come first. I help Alice around the coffee house, but seeing that it's nearly closing time, there isn't much to do. Finally, we close the shop once the sun starts to set. Another day's work is finally over. Don't you feel satisfied after working so hard for the whole day? Honestly, I just feel really tired. Not that I've been working as hard as you. You shouldn't feel tired, Taka. To work is to be offered a great blessing. Working fills me up with energy. If I don't work, I feel so guilty, then my energy gets all drained away. Does that mean you hate Sundays? Oh no, I love Sundays. I keep myself busy by reading a book or learning a new pastry recipe. There's always something to do. Alice is always so full of energy. Her stamina and work ethic makes me guilty as it reflects on my current situation. Have I tried hard enough to help her? Am I doing everything I can to pass the barista test? I better not let her down. Anyway, I'm starting to feel really hungry. I knew you'd be hungry. You've been working on your coffee brew for the whole day. That's why I've already prepared your dinner for tonight. Great, I can't even remember having dinner last night. Oh wait, I didn't have dinner last night. Constantine tried to feed me some poisoned rat food. I didn't touch it. I know, that was so terrible of him. That's why I prepared your favorite food tonight. My favorite food? Yes, your favorite food. Don't you feel happy just to think about your favorite food? Not ratatouille. Ratatouille, yay? Oh, yay, ratatouille. I can't wait to gobble it all up. I knew you'd like it. That's why I made a whole casserole. It will fill you up and make you stronger. Ratatouille. But seriously, haven't I been having ratatouille for 2 straight nights? I would have preferred some meat, but how should I tell Alice? She seemed too happy to break it to her now. She seems too happy to break it to her now. I think I'll think about something later. After dinner. So, has anything much happened since the assassination? I've been walking around the mid-levels and everything seems very peaceful. It's been surprisingly quiet. We received fewer customers today, but nobody witnessed anything unusual either. I did hear from one of our customers that Yayoi has already taken control of all operations in House Argyle. Yayoi? Yayoi is the daughter of Lady Argyle. She'll become the new Lady Argyle. From what I've heard, she's very capable. In a single day, she's already taken full control of all the turfs. Those who tried to rebel had absolutely no chance. It seems the transition is going to be a peaceful one. Looks like she'll be a capable title holder, and to consider that she's only 15. 15? She's even younger than me. But from what I've heard, even though she's quite capable, everyone says this new Lady Argyle is mad. Aren't they all supposed to be mad? No, Taka. Yayoi, from the rumors I've heard, is even worse than the previous one. Even worse than the previous title holder? The previous lady tried to kill me. If it's even crazier, that can't be good for me. I heard that she killed a bear with her bare hands at the age of 3. That's just a rumor you heard from a friend of a friend, isn't it? How did you know? But my friend is a very reliable friend. She won't lie to me. Yeah, I believe you. So, Taka, you've been to quite a few places the past few days. Have you made up your mind on who you'd like to help you? And that's true. Today I sought help from many, many people. Coffee girl Eliza, even though she is kind and helpful, it doesn't feel like I'm getting a lot of progress with caffeine. Espresso girl Mel is a great teacher with her espressos, but going there means I'll be used as slave labor. I'm sure pastry girl Alice won't mind. It's just a bit, well, unfair. I can always go and receive angry girl Ocean's intensive training. I imagine it'll be tough coming from her. I probably should decide tonight. It's a very important decision for me, so I need to be careful. Who should I spend the rest of the week with? Well, let's go with Ocean, because she's going to have the most knowledge. I don't think the espresso or the cupper knowledge it's going to help me as much. Now, from tomorrow onwards, I'll be spending much more time at Moria Coffee House. That's fine, Taka. Do what you have to do. I totally support you. That's it. I made up my mind. I'll focus on learning how to brew coffee from Coffee Sensei. I can't have no hearts from Ocean, though. Chapter 6. Ocean doesn't seem to be in today. Great. Of all the times, the barista test is coming soon. I really need her. So ironic. A few days ago, I was dreading to see her. Now, my meaning of existence in this weird world literally counts on her.
Ocean is out right now, but she'll return in 3 hours, give or take. Let me brew your coffee for today.
Ah, you scared me.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Did I scare you again?
Again? Sorry, have we met before?
Do you not remember me?
Nope.
Why, I was here the first time you came, with that mellow, tame, redhead lady.
Red-haired lady? Oh, wait. You were the barista that served my first coffee. Now I remember. Sorry, I'm terrible with faces.
I'm not offended. I'm a barista with no presence. I admit. My existence an afterthought, like colorless dust.
Hey, don't be like that. Maybe I can start by knowing your name.
It's Sophronia, of the House Aberdeen. Remember my name, and maybe you'll remember my face.
House Aberdeen? Like descended from Erica Aberdeen? With a name like that, it's hard to believe you don't get any more attention. Oh, she's speaking? Well, I don't flaunt my name to her when I serve. Oh, boy. I can barely hear the game. But to you, I guess it doesn't matter. Why are you working here? So tell me, why is the heir to House Aberdeen working here? I thought someone like you would have more important matters to attend to. Oh, but we, the House Aberdeen, do not flaunt our family name to gain undeserved privilege. We are honorable people. We are also humble people who have no qualms working from the bottom. This is the motto of our existence. What's the matter? You don't look convinced. Yeah, I'm not convinced. Alright, I'll tell you the truth. Our house isn't doing well. There's simply no job for me in upper society. Being a barista is a means to restoring our tarnished name. I wonder what'll happen to them. Should I ask further? You are a foreigner, aren't you? Is that why you are so oblivious to our family's plights? It is my duty that our family be restored to its former glory, at whatever cost it might incur upon my broken soul. I will do anything to restore our family name. Well, calm down. I'm rooting for you. Don't give me that look. So, what's your evil plan? Evil plan? Oh, there's nothing evil about winning the barista championship. The barista championship? Yes, the barista championship. It is my only hope. If the daughter of the Aberdeens can prevail, then all Victorians will start to look up to us again. If only Ocean would support me, but I know she will be my toughest rival. Can you tell me what really happened to Lady Aberdeen? There's something I want to ask you about the story of Lady Aberdeen. What would you like to ask about my house founder? Did Lady Aberdeen really, lose an arm? Oh, I see you've been studying our lore and you've been delving too much into the specifics. What do you mean? Oh, what do you mean? Does it matter whether Lady Aberdeen lost an arm? Of course it matters. Either she lost an arm or she didn't. It can't happen both ways. But what if it did happen both ways? You mean she lost an arm and didn't lose an arm at the same time? That's ridiculous. But hasn't it always been like that? Didn't people before our time believe in the old gods, who told stories that could be interpreted in different ways? Old gods? Who are the old gods? Have you heard the story of Orpheus and Eurydice? They were a married couple, madly in love, but one day Eurydice was poisoned by a snake hidden under the tall grass and died. Orpheus was overcome with sorrow. He traveled into hell to find his wife, vowing to bring her back to life. He sang songs that made even the caretakers of the underworld weep, and they agreed to let Orpheus take Eurydice back, only on one condition. That Eurydice would follow him from behind, unseen, and he would promise not to look back at Eurydice until they reached the upper world. But when they approached the tunnel's end, Orpheus was suddenly overwhelmed by the madness of love. He turned his head back, fearing that his wife was not behind him. Eurydice, however, did not blame him for his mishap, for she knew that Orpheus looked back because he truly loved her. Her shadow vanished into darkness, never to be seen again. That's tragic. That's the good ending, because at least Eurydice acknowledged his love, and they would once again meet in the underworld when Orpheus dies. However, in another version of the same story, when Orpheus looked back, Eurydice was filled with rage, exclaiming, What madness has destroyed me and you, Orpheus? And Eurydice's soul vanished into the void, leaving behind Orpheus with deep regrets. They would never be reunited because their bonds were broken eternally. So, as you can see, stories told by different people results in different outcomes. The only constant is that the moral of the story doesn't change, which is that humans can never overpower the will of gods, even in the face of love. Alright, I get it, but these are just stories, right? Lady Aberdeen is a historical figure. And who's to say that history is a true reflection of the past events? Let time flow long enough and we are left with myths and legends. What remains are morals. As long as the spirit remains, the power of caffeine will live on. I'm not sure if I totally get it. So what you're saying is it doesn't matter what the truth is as long as the moral is clear. You need to know. The story isn't about Princess Victoria. It's about Erica Aberdeen. Whether the princess was cowardly does not change the morals of the story. Whether she lost her arm is not important. The most important thing is she did not remove her arm from the wolf, even at the most perilous of times. Well, I can't argue with that. I guess that does make sense if you look at it as an allegory. Ask more about Ocean. So, what's between you and Ocean? We have a deep friendly rivalry created through a lifetime of friendship. We had, after all, been schoolmates for a long, long time. So you've known each other since childhood? Yes, in fact, we both graduated from the most prestigious Royal Victorian Girls' School, where only the top elites and upper classes are allowed to enroll. Ocean was at the top of the class every year. I, on the other hand, could only admire her achievements from a distance. So Ocean is really smart. Well, I mean, you're smart too. Someone who went to such a school must be really smart to begin with. You do not understand. Smart is an understatement. She was the top student in Victoria, a gem that comes only once in a decade. If it were not for her burdens that troubled her soul, she could have achieved greatness. Why is she even here as a barista, I do not know. Huh? How come I hear bitterness in her voice? Ahem. Oh, Ocean, I thought you were out on errands. Finished early. Didn't need 3 hours. 1 hour was enough to complete the task. I hope you enjoyed gossiping about me while I wasn't around. Oh no, why would I? Of course I didn't. Let me get back to my work, sis. Do not call me sis. You are not my sis. Sorry, I thought... Do I have to repeat everything twice? I thought you had to go somewhere. Oh, sorry, sis. I mean, never mind. I'll get going. So I see you're back, Taka. Does that mean you have decided to go with my intensive training for the remainder of days? So you and Safrina... I didn't know. So I heard that you and Safrina used to be schoolmates. That is indeed true. And you two used to be really close? Why am I not surprised she would say that? Don't listen to her. She's disillusioned. So it's not true? You two were not yearning for each other's, human touch? What are you talking about? Oh, wait. I know what this is about. What did Safrina say? Say it. Say it. Nothing. It was nothing. I probably misunderstood. From the looks of it, it's more like that It is more than a misunderstanding. Your brain is now filled with over-the-top imaginative poses of me and... what am I saying? Over-the-top imaginative poses? Stop. Come back. Don't drift into that imaginary land again. That doesn't exist. I have to put a stop to this. I'll be back. Sophronia, what kind of imaginary rumors have you been spreading again? I'm so sorry. Didn't I tell you? We are not that close. Not that close. Well, they are indeed very close. Alright, now where were we? Okay, I can definitely see a sister bonding between you two. Stop it. Just stop it. Alright, enough of this insanity. Since you're here today, it means that you are prepared to go through my intensive training in coffee brewing. Yes, I'm ready. Bring it on. Today, I want you to start with a passage in the Cohindo, or Cohido. Cohido? What's a Cohido? Cohido is the Way of the Coffee, written by Moria Sensei. It's considered a masterpiece in Victorian coffee literature. It's a book which every barista is supposed to read. Of course, judging by your confused look, you haven't read this book before. Look at the book and flip a few pages. This is easy. This book is thin. I can finish this in one day. The book might be thin, but that's only because Moria Sensei uses his words sparingly. Read a few lines and see if you can get the meaning of his wisdom. When I grind my coffee beans, if I grind them too fine, coffee becomes too strong. If I grind them too coarse, it becomes too bland. Neither too fine or too coarse. I observe with my eyes, smell with my nostrils, and respond with my mind. But my mouth cannot put into words on how fine the grinds should be. There is an art to it. But the master cannot show it to his apprentice, and the apprentice cannot learn it from the master. The great baristas develop their skills through time, and their wisdom dies with them. The great masters take to the earth with what they cannot pass on. So what you read here are just leftovers, scraps that bear no resemblance to the way of the coffee. Wait. So basically what he's saying here is that this book isn't going to teach me how to brew really good coffee. Exactly. The only way to enlightenment is through experience and intuition. Experience comes from years and years of practice. With experience comes intuition. And how many years of experience are we talking about? Moria Sensei spent 70 years of his life brewing coffee, so if you want to surpass him for you, it'll probably take 150 years. 150 years? I would be dead twice by then. But what Moria Sensei states in his book is only partially true. Only partially true? The Cohido was written 200 years ago, when the scientific method was still in its infancy. If Moria Sensei were to be born today, he'd agree that precise measurements in scientific advancement can lower the bar to achieving good coffee. There are many variables in coffee. In the past, controlling all these variables was simply not possible. Our measuring equipment was not good enough to measure the fineness of the coffee grinds. While we can easily measure the mineral contents in water with modern-day equipment, such technology was simply out of the reach to the master. That's why Moria Sensei had to rely on experience and intuition. With scientific progress, we can now get accurate readings for temperature, humidity, and atmospheric pressure. We might not have captured all the variables, but we are close to it. Intuition is still important, but a barista can now brew coffee by being prudent with their measurements. That's why you, Taka, will start from getting your measurements right. Funny you say how he's the Grandmaster of Coffee, but you don't hesitate to criticize him. Because knowledge is not dogma, and Moria Sensei himself said that his teaching should not be treated as such. Flip to the first page and see what he says. I flip to the first page and start reading. The teachings of Moria Sensei are greatly in error. They are in error because no words can ever capture the truth of the Cohido. The most important things can only be conveyed from heart to heart. So he's criticizing his own teachings. Exactly, because first, he knows that words can never convey the truth behind the way of the coffee. And second, time changes. What is relevant to us 200 years ago may not be relevant now. Our understanding of nature and science is at its pinnacle. If we strictly follow the old way, we will push ourselves into a corner, unable to see the truth before our eyes. Then what's the point of this book? The secret lies in rigorous training, to observe and to imitate. That is the way to brewing a good cup of coffee. That is why, starting from today, you will wake up at 5 a.m. every morning and arrive at 6. You brew coffee for 12 hours a day until you cannot lift up your hands. Well, sounds excessive. Won't I tire myself to death? You can choose to risk dying in fatigue or live on the streets later. The choice is clear. There's only one way, the way of the coffee. From that day onwards, I wake up at 5 in the morning and walk over to Moria Coffee House, where Ocean waits for me, arms crossed, staring at me with a sense of urgency. She shows me the science behind coffee brewing, how to use burr grinders to obtain the precise grind levels for a particular coffee, and how to measure temperature and humidity to the accuracy of 2 decimal places. Accuracy is key, and controlling many variables is the key to brewing the perfect cup of coffee. I know that the perfect cup of coffee is still an elusive quest for me, but at least precise measurements will help me get closer to my goal. After that, it's lots of practice. For the next 4 to 5 hours, I follow the same routine of grinding, measuring, stirring, and smelling. I make comments on how the coffee smells, what flavors and aromas I observe, while Ocean either shakes her head in utter indignation or quietly nods in approval. Most of the time, she stands next to me, working on her own coffee brew. I mimic her posture, observe her stir. I always find an aura shining through her when she devotes all her attention to preparing her coffee. I try hard to synchronize her actions so I can catch the tail of her aura, and when that aura starts to envelop me, I find myself deep in a hypnotic trance. All my devotion is on the coffee brew. Nothing external can distract me. I feel alive when all my focus is on an item which a week ago I saw only as a trivial part of my life. To devote yourself to perfecting such a trivial drink, a cup of coffee, sounds like madness, but I feel like that I cannot part with this newfound ecstasy. There are many things I still don't understand, but none of that is important. My brain is already stuffed with too much information. There are things that are left to rote memory. I read the Cogito, and Moria-sensei keeps emphasizing the importance of observation and imitation, so that's what I do. When I'm not practicing coffee brewing, I become Ocean's shadow. I walk behind her and become a quiet observer. I take notes on how she greets customers, how she introduces today's coffee beans, and how she takes her order. Everything I try as hard as I can to imprint into my brain. I memorize every step she takes, every word she says. I even imitate her accent. Every evening, as I walk back to the coffee house, I visualize myself in front of a siphon, stirring my coffee and explaining my coffee beans to the awe of my beloved customers. Coffee beans from the Yurgachev region, grown at a coffee estate of 150 hectares at 1,800 feet to 2,300 feet. Notable aromas are citric, grapefruit, with notable flavors of cocoa and vanilla. Eventually, I start talking out loud to myself. The bewildered stares of passerbys concern me no more. Why am I doing this? Because only when your life is about coffee will you begin to appreciate coffee. Make coffee everything in your life, and you will be able to brew good coffee. Very soon, my life is all about coffee. I start having dreams about coffee. That's how I gained four more hours of practice every night, by practicing in my dreams. I keep asking for feedback. Feedback can be cruel.
Your coffee tastes just like your personality. Bland.
But nonetheless, it is honest feedback. Can I add sugar or milk? I feel the sensational flavors of life have been taken away from me. And eventually feedback becomes encouragement. This is wonderful. You've improved. However, whenever my emotional roller coaster reaches a new high, there's always that steep descent that thrusts me towards the ground, driving me into a spiral of despair. How are you holding up, Taka? Alice, I don't think I can do it. I only have 3 more days, and I can't do it. My hands are trembling. My brain is fried. I'm starting to do everything in reverse. I can feel my chest burning. I could not contain myself any longer, and words start spilling out without filter. What if I don't pass? What if Constantine comes and closes down this coffee house? Does that mean I'll be thrown out onto the streets? Or maybe we can drug him, lock him up in the basement. We can keep him there for a week, and I can take another barista test before anyone finds out he's missing. No one will notice he's missing for a week, right? And just a week. One more week, my odds will increase. Taka, calm down. You know that's not going to happen. Constantine will burn down the coffee house before being submitted to involuntary confinement. I know, I'm just rambling like a madman. Or maybe we can teleport him into the sea. Take a rest, Taka. I can't. I still need to practice 3 more times. Finally, only 2 more days left before the big day. So, how is it? I'm impressed. You have improved to the level where I'm proud to say you're my student. Really? Does it mean I'm good to go? I can't believe it. Ocean is actually praising me. However... Oh... Have you had any luck with caffeine? Well, not really. I haven't spent as much time practicing caffeine. All my time has been devoted to coffee brewing. But even if I wanted to practice caffeine, I don't know where to start. Nothing worked. No fire, no vaporization, no teleportation. It was just hopeless. In that case, this cup of coffee is not good enough. You need to score full marks in your coffee brewing if you are to pass. Full marks? Is that even possible? Of course it's possible. The barista test is for beginners. Scoring assessments are much more lenient towards barista trainees. Although you say that, a full score on a test would be a remarkable feat. Of course, if you serve this coffee brew, you won't get full marks. We are still missing a crucial ingredient. And what is that? If you have read the Cohido, as I told you to, you should be able to guess by now. Water? Correct. Water. Water is one of the most important substances in coffee. It is, after all, 90% of the coffee itself. Coffee prepared with average coffee beans but quality water, you can still get great coffee. However, coffee prepared with great coffee beans but average water, you will only get average coffee. A sense of nostalgia hits me when Ocean mutters those words. It feels like I've heard this somewhere before. So tomorrow I will take you somewhere. We will be fetching water. Fetching water? I arrive early in the morning and wait outside the coffee house as Ocean instructs me to. The distant chiming of the tram bells echoes from a distance. I wonder what kind of Spartan training Ocean wants to pass on today. I hope it's not going to tire me out. The barista test is tomorrow and I feel so tired. I should get some good sleep after this is all over. Good morning. Morning. So, judging by what you're wearing, I guess we're not going inside today. I spot Ocean carrying a rucksack. It seems stuffed with items inside, though it doesn't look too heavy. No, we're not. At least not for now. I'll be back for work later today. We're going to Monkey Falls. Monkey Falls? I'm not really in the mood for a hiking day today. I've only had 4 hours sleep. I only had 4 hours sleep nights for the whole week. Who says it's a hiking date? I'm taking you to fetch water. We're fetching water in the countryside? What's wrong with the tap? Ocean had explained to me a while ago that Moria is serious when it comes to sourcing its water. A filtration system is installed that adjusts the levels of minerals in the water. The best water for coffee is always the so-called hard water, water rich with magnesium and calcium. It helps to bring out the richness and the flavor of the coffee beans. But now Ocean is suddenly asking me to follow her into the mountains to fetch water. Do we really need to go that far? Yes, it is true we invest heavily in our water quality, but nothing beats the richness and flavor brewed from natural water sources, especially water from the natural springs of Monkey Falls. Victoria used to have excellent water quality. Everyone could just brew coffee with water from the tap. But those days are gone. Ever since the factories were built in the northern peninsula, the water supply has become polluted. Water purified after treatment is simply not the same. Distilled water is devoid of all minerals, which gives us only bland coffee. That is why some cuppers prefer to take a weekend trip to Monkey Falls, camp out, and brew themselves a cup of coffee in the wilderness. Such commitment, just for a cup of coffee. And you, Taka, need to show that commitment as well. How long is it going to take to get there? We're teleporting there. Wait, you know caffeine? Of course I do. Why do you sound so surprised? Because you never taught me caffeine. Judging by how you raise your hands and pretend to be some kind of occult summoner, I was just saving you the embarrassment. Simply because she had never done any caffeine in front of me, I just assumed she couldn't, or her powers were weak. I heard that Monkey Falls is beyond the mountain ranges of the northern peninsula. If she can teleport me there, then her caffeine isn't weak at all. I suddenly feel inferior in all aspects. Let's not waste time. Grab my hand. We have to go. I grab Ocean's hand, and in an instant my eyes are blinded by a white flash of light, a gust of chilled wind hitting my face. I can feel my whole body transported into another dimension. This place looks so familiar. I've seen this in my dreams. Is this Coffee Dreamscape? What is Coffee Dreamscape? This is Monkey Falls. I gaze across the horizon. A lake as clear as a mirror. A waterfall splashing into the lake. Birds chirping in the distance. This is definitely Coffee Dreamscape. I see it every time I drink coffee. You must have been daydreaming. Are you sure you've never been here before? Well, I don't know. Maybe I have. So, this is where we can get the best water supply in Victoria. Monkey Falls is located inside a reserve, locked inside several mountain ranges. Not a single human lives around this area. There are the occasional campers, but everyone is obliged to leave the place like it was before they came. It's nice. It's a nice piece of nature. The air is so fresh. I've never breathed in anything so fresh before. So, Taka, do you know why the water from Monkey Falls is the best for brewing coffee? Because Moria-sensei said so? You're quite right about that. When Moria-sensei first arrived in Victoria, she went and visited all the rivers, streams, and lakes around the area to find the best water source, none of which was satisfactory. The sensei was close to giving up when she accidentally fell off a cliff. After waking up, the sensei found herself staring at an old man calmly drinking tea under a banyan tree. It turned out that this wise man was Lu Ryu, the 19th descendant of the tea saint Lu Yu. Lu Yu? Who is he? I'm surprised you haven't heard of him. Lu Yu is considered the sage of tea. He wrote the book called The Classics of Tea, which is considered a masterpiece equivalent to Moria-sensei's The Way of the Coffee. Lu Ryu and Moria-sensei decided to have a tea party together. While chatting, Lu Ryu gave Moria-sensei some advice. According to the Classics of Tea, the best water source is always spring water. If not, then river water will do. Well water is always considered inferior. Lu Ryu had come all the way to Victoria because he had heard about a water spring high up in the Victorian mountain ranges called Monkey Falls, but after visiting there, he found the water too hard. Too hard, as in it's got too many minerals in it? Correct. Hard water doesn't go well with tea. May well go with coffee. So Moria-sensei set off immediately to Monkey Falls and finally found the water she was searching for. So if Moria-sensei hadn't accidentally fallen off a cliff, we would never know about this secret in the mountains. So shall we go down to the lake and grab some water? Not so fast. Even though the water from the lake comes from a natural spring, water collected from different parts of the lake is different. There are parts of the water in this lake which will not give you, there are parts of the water in this lake which will give you stomach cramps. First, never fetch water from the lake with a permanent shade. Second, always fetch water from flowing water. That's why we need to survey the lake and look for a spot with sunshine. The mountains should be casting a huge shadow on the lake now, so we should look for sunshine. Alright, but just one thing. What shadow? What shadow? There's no shade on the lake. What do you mean there's no shade? There's no shade. Of course it's there. The mountain's towards the east, which means parts of the lake will be covered in a huge shadow. Ocean, if you look, the sun is now on top of our heads, so no part of the lake is actually covered in shadow. What? Ocean turns around, her eyes widening in disbelief. How can this be? It's still morning. The sun shouldn't be on top of our heads. Come to think of it, it does feel like noon now. Maybe Monkey Falls is so far away, time zones have changed. What time zones? Monkey Falls is far, but not that far. There must be some mistake. Ocean ponders for a while, but finally her looks concede that this is a problem without an immediate answer. She turns back towards me. Let's not dwell on this. Let's collect the water and head back to the city. Ocean starts to observe the lake. It picks a spot where it is not under a permanent shade, and where water is constantly flowing sideways in a ripple. She grabs some water with her hands and sniffs it. Fresh water, not polluted at all. This is what heavenly water should feel like. She fills up the bottle with the water. I notice the bottle is filled with white rocks, possibly acting as purifiers. Alright, let's go. I grab Ocean's hand and expect us to be transported back to Moria Coffee House in an instant. Nothing happens. Aren't we going? That's weird. Let me try again. Ocean focuses hard, really hard, but nothing happens again. Is your constipation bothering you? Quiet, Taka. This is strange. It feels like all my caffeine has been drained out of my system. No way. Does that mean we can't go back? It seems so. Looks like I won't be able to perform teleportation from caffeine. The other thing that's bothering me is the fact that the sun seems to be setting already. The clock says it's 11 o'clock in the morning, but that's definitely not right. It's more like 3 o'clock. Seems something strange happened during our teleportation. For some reason, we traveled forward in time. Can that even happen? No, it shouldn't have happened. Unless you have some strange caffeine abilities that were affecting my teleportation, and you didn't tell me. I'm really not sure. You know I have no caffeine in me. Perhaps you can't perform any of the caffeine we teach you because you possess another belief system. Even if you say so, I have no way of finding out because I don't even know what you're talking about. Don't you know anything about belief systems of caffeine? Never mind. This is not important. For now, at least. Okay, then, what should we do? If we were to return to the city, we probably should start walking. We are not walking back to the city. It will take half a day. Half a day? But the test is tomorrow. I'm going to be hammered if I walk for 13 hours. Calm down. Do you think I haven't considered that? Considered that? Come with me. Ocean takes me closer to the lake. At the edge of the lake, I find a wooden crate. It seems to be a permanent installation as the base digs deep into the soil. Ocean opens it and takes out some equipment and a huge sack. Coffee beans. There are coffee beans here? This is, after all, a camping ground. A lot of people camp here for the night. In the morning, there are always situations where the camper finds his coffee bean supplies running out, so this wooden box is like an emergency stash. Tailor-made for campers who urgently need a stash of coffee beans to brew themselves a cup of coffee and transport them back to the city. And best of all, the box also contains all the coffee equipment we need, from siphons to pour-over funnels. There's even a scale, a portable gas heater, and some chopped wood to make a fire. That's great. Let's quickly brew ourselves a cup of coffee so we can teleport back. If it were that simple. So what's the catch? The simple fact that these coffee beans are not yet roasted. We will need to roast these coffee beans first and wait overnight for them to cool down. Oh, that's a bummer. Why don't they stash roasted coffee beans instead? Make sure you don't mention that to your examiner tomorrow. He will definitely fail you instantly if you say that to him. Roasted coffee beans can only last for, at most, 2 weeks before they start to go stale. Stale coffee beans can only brew stale coffee, and since this stash of coffee beans is probably going to be here for a few months, raw coffee beans are stashed here. But, you know, we can afford to stay here for the night. They even have 2 tents. Oh, there's a guitar here. I take the guitar out and start plucking the strings. The pitch is a bit off, and there's a slight rusting on the copper strings, but nothing a proper tuning can't fix. You know how to play the guitar? Of course, I've been playing since I was 12. You're always full of surprises, aren't you? Anyway, let's start assembling the tent before it gets dark. I look at the tent kits. They look similar to the ones I use when I go camping. I should be able to set them up with ease. Cool, we can set up a tent. I think the tents are big enough, so we only need one. What are you talking about? Of course we're setting up 2 tents. One for me and one for you. What? But we're only staying for 1 night. Let's just set up 1 tent. I'm not sleeping in the same tent as you. You can set up your own tent then. Fine. I quickly grab 1 tent and spread it out on the flat surface. It doesn't take me long before I get all the poles connected. The tent has a rugged cotton fiber that is many times heavier than the fabrics I'm used to, but I managed to lift it up and connect it to the poles. Shh. What's that sound? I turn around to see Ocean panting. She's dragging the tent as far away as she can from me. Are you alright? No, I'm not. This tent is heavy. And you probably shouldn't drag the tent. You might rip it. As if I can lift it up by myself. I ignore her and continue to focus on setting up my tent. Ocean is right. These poles are made of actual steel, and they're pretty heavy. I guess they haven't invented lighter materials like aluminum yet. But it'll make a sturdy tent. I just need to make sure it doesn't fall on me and crush my bones. Eliza would probably survive this. She has strong bones. Not sure about Ocean. I better check her tents once she sets it up. It takes a bit of struggling, but I find myself sweating. My arms are starting to feel numb after all the heavy lifting. Within 15 minutes, I assemble a nice big tent. I turn around and look at Ocean. She hasn't even unfolded the tent. Alright, I guess I'll take a walk around the lake. Wait, aren't you going to help me? Why? Can't you set it up yourself? These tents are small. They can be easily set up by one person. Are you serious? These poles are heavy. Oh, they're not that heavy. Can't you use caffeine to lift them up? You're so funny. I can't use caffeine. That's the whole reason we're stuck here. Alright, go to that side and I'll help you. I look at the mess that Ocean has created. Poles are lying everywhere. The tent is unfolded the wrong way. I check the surface. There is rubble everywhere, and there's an uneven slope too. We need to move this tent somewhere else. What? Why? It took me 15 minutes to drag the tent here. The tent is too close to the lake, and it's sloping towards it. You might get flooded. You might get flooded if it rains. All right, fine. Will you at least help me lift it up? All right, go to the other side. Are you ready? Ready for what? Ready to lift the tent up. Can't we just drag it? No, we can't, unless you want to live inside a punctured tent. All right, so shall we count to 3? Sure. 1, 2, 3. Wait, I'm not... I'm all wet. I told you it was too close to the lake. Taka, what were you doing? You were supposed to use some force on your end as well. You should have given me some warning. I did. I counted to 3. That wasn't counting. You were rambling. I'm all wet. I need to take the clothes off. Can I borrow your tent? Let me just get my apron and work clothes for my rucksack. Wait, you brought your apron? Oh, so that's what her rucksack was for. I was planning to get back to work once we were done here. Looks like it's not happening anymore. Don't look. I'll blast you into the volcano. Like you can't perform caffeine. Taka, please. The night steadily approaches. In the end, we never bothered with the second tent. We were both tired and the sun was already setting. We ate some nuts from the emergency stash and started making a bonfire. Very soon, the once bright green landscape is cast under a faint blue hue, lighted only by the faint stars and crescent moon across the horizon. I hear an owl hooting in the distance. Leafhoppers vibrate their organs while hiding under the shuffling grass, their high-pitched vocal echoes across the lake. A fish jumps out of the water and makes a splash that ripples across the surface. After a while, the lake once again becomes a perfect mirror image of the sky. The waterfall disappears after sunset as the running water in the mountain slowly condenses and becomes trapped in layers of ice, waiting to be melted again until the next day's rising. In front of me, I see a bonfire, the sounds of nicely chopped wood crackling under the comforting warmth. Besides the bonfire sits Ocean, patiently turning a metal cage. The coffee beans trapped inside the cage rattle like lottery balls, clanging and banging on the metal frames, while glowing red under the gas heaters placed directly underneath. I slowly pluck my guitar, remembering the melodies I used to play a long time ago, reminiscing the days when my passion didn't forbid me from chasing my wildest dreams. The melody sings a tune of distant memories, a melody I used to practice every day. Hey, Taka. Yes? That wasn't bad. You bring emotion into your songs. I smiled at Ocean, appreciating the compliment, feeling its sincerity. But she isn't looking at me. She's gazing into the distance, watching the lake intently and looking deep in thought. What has her so preoccupied? Is she recalling a memory, perhaps, about this place? I feel curiosity makes its way into me, and part of me wants to ask her about it. I see that my song deeply affected you. It has sent your mind elsewhere already. Memories? She turns to me and looks surprised, but then smirks slightly. Sneaky one, aren't you? I smirk a bit back. Maybe. You've been here before, right? So you must have some memories of this place. I guess my music set up the mood for you to remember. She gazes back at the lake. Maybe. The place is quite peaceful, and your music triggers some memories, yes. I used to come here often by myself. I needed the silence, especially when I would argue with my father. My ears perk up as Ocean never speaks of her parents before. I nod in understanding. I guess you used to argue often? Ocean nods sadly. He was the strict parent type. I had the best education, servants to attend to my needs, but my father was never there. He didn't ignore me or yell at me. He wanted me to be his idea of a good daughter. But I was determined not to be like him, not to follow in his footsteps. Somehow I could empathize listening to Ocean's story. I had a father as well who I refused to follow in his footsteps. But fate has played a nasty joke on me, forcing me into the same occupation that I grew up to despise. And becoming a barista was your way of not following in his footsteps? It's more than that. Ocean doesn't hesitate. Her reply is more like an interruption which, unintentionally, causes me to stop plucking my guitar. Are you all right? And that's when I see, in front of the flames that light up her face, a girl on the verge of shedding a tear. A single tear. Ocean stares towards the starlight and lets out a deep sigh. There are two paths you can take in Victoria, one of the cuppers and the other of the industrialists. I was born into a family of industrialists who believe that science and technology are the future. That's why I'm a heretic, wanting to become a barista, learn caffeine, and follow the path of a cupper. I did not know that. How would it feel to go against your family's beliefs? I could have followed my father's footsteps, you know. I'm not that strong. I did not have the willpower to resist. She pauses, then whispers in a soft tone, as if reminiscing of someone who is dear to her. But someone came into my life. She gave me the strength to say no, and with that strength I could forge my own path. I could feel the emotions in her words affecting me. She cared about me, but she left. Yet I still believe she's somewhere in the world, waiting for the day of our reunion. The chillness of the air sweeps into my heart, and it starts to hurt. She taught me what it means to be a barista at heart, and what it means to feel passionate about working on the things you love. She taught me how it feels to walk a path you set for yourself, and for that I made a promise to continue this path until I see her again. Her words touched the bottom of my heart. I cannot help but feel a part of me tearing up, an unbearable feeling of heaviness weighing upon me. That is why I became a barista, Taka. And isn't it time? And isn't it the same for you? Because you hope that someday you will meet that special someone again. The same for me. I, too, am searching for that happiness. That's why I've been working so hard, day and night. I try hard not to let my tears flow, because I remember that, even though I'm working hard, my dreams may never come true. I believe she's still there, somewhere in this world. If I can't make myself believe in that, then nothing matters, because I will never be able to reunite with my happiness. I know. When we first met, I said what I had to say. That I shouldn't keep my hopes too high, that she might not be here anymore. And I understand. It's been 15 years. Who knows what could have happened? But how can I ridicule you when I'm doing the same thing? I look at Ocean with watery eyes. She turns into a blurry figure upon the refractions of my tears. I too am clinging onto that slim hope. If I follow my path, I'll be reunited with the happiness that has so far eluded me. In the end, we are just the same. We both stare at each other for a long time, minds and hearts connected. Is that what being on the same wavelength feels like? Our minds and hearts are at unison. A connection has been established. And amidst the chillness of the world which engulfs me both physically and mentally, I can feel warmth. Just then I hear the crackling of the beans again, and this time at a more violent rushing pace. Ocean quickly turns off the gas fire and allows the coffee beans to cool. She slowly pulls back and lifts up her head, staring at the starry night. Tomorrow, Taka. It all comes down to tomorrow, so get some rest now and make us proud. The next morning, I wake up to the sound of a rushing waterfall. The owls have gone to sleep, and the leafsuckers are all silent, probably inside the bellies of hungry morning birds now chirping in the trees. I smell the aroma of coffee, brewed from freshly roasted coffee beans. I sit up straight and notice Ocean standing beside the bonfire, wearing her apron. She is preparing the coffee equipment. Good morning, my personal breakfast mate. Oh, good morning's fine. Good morning. You're up early. I am always up early. We've got no time to lose. I've already started boiling the water. You want to try brewing our morning cup of coffee? You can use a siphon. They have one here, fortunately. I get up and immediately begin to work. After the morning hiatus, I pick up a siphon from the wooden crate and start to brew myself and Ocean a cup of coffee. How is it? Not bad, I would say. The spring water from Monkey Falls has dramatically improved the flavors of your coffee brew. If you're using proper coffee beans, this would definitely get you full marks. I'm elated by Ocean's words. I feel invincible now, but the nervousness is also slowly building up. I just need to make sure I don't panic during the test. You'll do fine. Now, let's pack up and head back. We put out the fire, clean all the equipment, and place the tent back into the wooden crate. Are you ready? Hold my hand. Wait, what if time moves forward again? Is it possible that I'd miss my test? It won't. I'm going to use all my caffeine just for this teleportation. It will overcome any weird effects you have on me. I grab her hand and we are immediately transported back to the main street. Alright, you better head to the Coffee Academia. Ocean? Yes? Thank you for everything. I won't let you down. As if you would. "15 days of hard work and sweat. I thought this day would never come. I hope everything I've done to prepare myself will be enough." I follow the librarian to her room in the basement. The room looks eerily familiar. Do all the cupping rooms look the same? Even the poster at the back is in the same position. Oh well. So, Taka Knight, let me read you the instructions. The first part of the test is the coffee brewing test. You have been given 6 different types of coffee beans, roasted from light to dark. Each set of coffee beans has its distinctive flavors, notes, and aromatic characteristics, which is expected since they are from a variety of regions around the world. You have 15 minutes to select a coffee bean which will suit the brewing technique of your choosing. There should be more than enough time for you to brew a decent cup of coffee within the allotted time. Also, be expected to answer any of my questions during the test. If you have no questions, then shall we start? Wait, you're the examiner? Yes, I am. He doesn't say anything. He ignores my surprised expression and sits down in one corner. I guess I should start then. First, I need to assess the coffee beans in front of me. Remembering the cupping techniques that Eliza taught me, I start first by scooping up some coffee beans and putting them in the grinder. I then transfer them into a glass cup, where I bring it closer to my nose so I can focus on the aromatic notes spreading out from the translucent glass. Aromatic notes of peach, plum, and orange. In other words, the fruity aromatic scent is dominant in this coffee bean. It smells just like... It takes me 5 minutes to grind and assess the aromatic characteristics of each coffee bean. By now I have identified 3 of the 6 which are superior in terms of its richness and fragrance. The coffee on the rightmost exhibits a rich floral scent with a sweet fragrance of lemon. Then we have the one next to it, exotic and complex, like wild berries in the forests. Then the leftmost coffee bean is a dark roast with a strong chocolate flavor. All 3 exhibit distinct characteristics. Using any of these 3 coffee beans would guarantee a decent cup of coffee. Which should I choose? After considering for a while, I decided to take a risk. After all, if I'm to ace the test, I need to put everything I've learned at Moria's into practice. I've decided I'm going to use all 3. Oh? You're going to use all 3 coffee beans? You plan to make a blend? Yes, in the ratio of 1-1-1. There are 3 advantages. These 3 coffee beans all have very distinct characteristics. Their flavors will likely not clash with each other. The librarian thinks for a moment and nods his head. I'm surprised you're willing to take such a risk during a test. You are really planning to go for full marks, aren't you? Of course, and don't just think that's all I've got up my sleeves. I take out my secret weapon, the bottle of water, which took me a whole day to retrieve. Oh, you brought your own water as well? Please explain. Natural spring water from Monkey Falls. We tested its acidity and it has a pH of 6.2, with the perfect amount of magnesium and calcium to hold onto the coffee's flavors. I'm not lying about the pH value. Before we came here, Ocean had it tested to make sure the acidity is just about right. I pour the water into a kettle and start heating it up. I stop at 90 degrees. That's when I pour the water into the siphon. 90 degrees, eh? You sure that's the best temperature to brew your coffee? While the librarian's question seems to be a bit pointed, his tone is indifferent. He is obviously trying to throw me off. Just wait a moment. I'm still not done. Once the water rises up to the glass cylinder, I pour the tube of cold water into the siphon. This will lower the temperature of the water to 82 degrees. So, to give you an answer, a lower temperature will give a fuller richness and flavor without destroying the floral or aromatic compounds. The librarian gives me a thoughtful look, but doesn't say anything. I start closing my eyes and concentrating on stirring the coffee while trying to sniff out the smell. First, I smell sweet lemons. A complex scent of wildflowers is blooming in the background. I give it another stir. This time, wild berries appears in the shrubs. My mouth begins to water at the scent. Finally, I detect the chocolate flavor in the scent. The 3 coffee beans are blended perfectly. I remove the heat source from the siphon to allow the coffee to sink back into the glass cone. Then I pour a cup of coffee and hand it to the librarian. Bright yellow aromatic notes, red fruit flavor notes, chocolate in the background, all in one cup. You've done an amazing job. The librarian glances at the surface of the coffee cup. I notice he's observing the oily surface. Amazing. Think how you've mastered the siphon. The richness of the oil gives this cup such a full texture. He's right. The main advantage of the siphon is its ability to retain all the oil in the coffee. The oil which contains all the essence, the flavors, and the aromatic notes. Normally a coffee filter would risk filtering out all the oil essence. But there's no need to worry about that with the siphon. And you brewed it at just the right time. Not too soon, not too long. Too soon the coffee would have become sour. Too long the yellow fruit characteristics would have disappeared. Well done. I have to say I'm happy to give you full marks. Full marks? Really? So I aced the test? Just so you know, Taka Knight, you did not make the perfect brew. Just by our test standards, you were above and beyond, so your brew deserves full marks. But let me remind you, in the world of coffee, you still have a long way to go to achieve the perfect cup that many baristas have yearned to achieve. I don't care about the perfect cup. I got full marks. But then my happiness turns to a solemn face. But I still need to pass the caffeine test. You can decide whether to take it. It's up to you. Huh? Well, with your current score, you have already passed, regardless. Really? That's when I realized the full mark for the test is 100 and the coffee brewing test contains 60 points. The passing mark is 60. Since I scored full points, that means I'll pass, no matter what the outcome of the caffeine test. Then I guess I'll pass.
You did it, Taka.
Yes, I did it. Alice didn't have to remind me.
You saved Taka Coffee House. I'm so happy.
She's pumped, eyes spilled with emotion. I want to match her energy, but I couldn't lift myself up.
I really don't know what to say. I mean, I always believed you could do it, but...
Alice, are you alright?
I'm alright. I don't know. Emotional?
Are you crying?
These are happy tears, Taka. Don't you feel relieved as well?
I'm acting too calm. I want to shout out loud. I want to hug her, but I can't.
You must be really tired, Taka. Let me get you some food. I'll take a rest tonight. We have a big day ahead of us tomorrow.
That's right. I need to rest. Tomorrow's a whole new day.
Sorry. Oh, sorry, but we're already closed for the day. I'm not here to buy anything. I was looking for Taka. Oh, you know Taka?
Hey, wait. I remember that voice. Eliza, is that you?
Yes, it's me, Taka. I heard about your test results from the librarian. Congratulations. I'm so happy that you passed the test.
Thank you for the help.
I didn't really do anything. I couldn't help you with caffeine. And since you now passed, I guess you won't be going to the Coffee Academia that often anymore.
Well, that's true. Now that I passed my test, I'll be busy brewing coffee every day. There'll be hardly any time for me to go out. That also means that I won't be seeing Eliza that often from now on. Oh, well, that makes me feel sad, of course. That makes me feel sad. It's only been 2 weeks, but we shared so many memories together. Leaving those memories behind would make me feel so lonely. Is there a possibility to go and visit her? The Coffee Academia is a bit far away. If only I can teleport there. I feel a hint of sadness in her as well as she tilts her head down, seemingly in deep thought.
Oh, that's actually why I'm here. I have a favor to ask you.
Favor? What favor?
I want to... this is embarrassing. I don't know how to say this, but...
Huh?
I want to work here.
What? You want to work here? Why?
Experience. I want the experience. I've never worked my entire life. I feel ashamed for not knowing enough about how the real world works.
So you want to work here just for the experience?
Yes, please. I'll do anything. I don't even need pay.
Well, it's not my decision to make. Eliza looks a bit sad when I told her these words. That's when I realized I was expressing myself without any emotions. It must have come out as cold and apathetic. What's wrong with me today?
You want to work here in our coffee house? We don't really have that many customers.
And I'm not sure how much experience you would get from Taka, either.
Oh, that was blunt, but thank you for being honest.
I'm fine with that. I like coffee houses with fewer people. I'm shy and don't want to talk to people anyway.
You don't want to talk to people? But that's a big part of working in a coffee house.
Oh, is it going to be a no then?
I think that's a great idea. You can still help Taka with improving his coffee skills.
Can I really? Oh, thank you. I'm so happy.
That was easy. I can't say I'm not happy about this outcome. Eliza will be working with us.
I can be Taka's coffee bean assistant.
Coffee bean assistant?
Yes, anything about coffee beans, just leave it to me. I can even help you roast coffee beans as well.
Oh, speaking of roasting coffee beans, I nearly forgot we've run out of coffee beans.
That's alright. I can bring a sack of coffee beans from the Coffee Academia tomorrow. Would you like geisha or Kona?
Bring coffee beans from the academia? Is that even legal?
Oh, you're right. It might not be that appropriate. Sorry, I'm so used to taking the coffee beans from the academia, I tend to forget they are only for academic purposes.
Academic purposes? I never thought of that. All the times where we were just using coffee beans for enjoyment. Where should we go buy coffee beans? Is there a shop we need to go to?
You need to go to the coffee trading house. And we're in luck. The coffee auction is tomorrow.
The coffee auction?
Yes, the coffee auction is a weekly event. All the coffee traders in Victoria will be bringing in their coffee beans to sell. There will also be a cupping assessment. Newly arrived coffee beans will be assessed for their quality. It is our chance to buy some really good coffee.
That sounds like fun. Please take me there as well, Taka. I'll be the best coffee bean assistant you will ever find.
Eliza, you will definitely love it there. You can help tell me which coffee beans are good.
Alright then, that's all settled. Taka and Eliza will be heading to the coffee trading house at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Did I just hear 5 o'clock in the morning? Kill me, please. What happened after that was all a blur. I remember Eliza and Alice chatting alone for a while. I was just sitting there, mind blank, dozing off. Then Eliza left. Alice made me some dinner and left as well. I finished my dinner without much thought. Now I'm sitting here all alone in the coffee house, staring out the window as the sun begins to set. It's going to get busy, eh? And I'll have Eliza and Alice working beside me. 2 sweet girls. Come to think of it, Eliza was trying to say something to me before she left, but I didn't pay attention. Then I remembered Alice was asking me why I seemed so distant today. Was I? I should cheer up. I don't know why I'm in tears, but I should cheer up. Tears. Yes, why am I in tears? I shouldn't be. I should be happy. I did what everyone said was impossible. I passed the barista test. All the hopes and dreams that Alice placed on me, my parents' legacy, they are now safe. I should be proud of myself. Then why can't I stop crying? The stress that I had to bear for the past 2 weeks has burdened me with an unspeakable pain in both body and soul. But it had kept me focused, it kept me sane, in a world where nothing made sense. But once that burden was lifted up from me, I suddenly realized how empty I feel. I made remarkable friends, but I missed the world I came from, I made remarkable friends, but I missed the world I came from, the world where is slowly becoming a blur to me. Okay, that's just a weird sentence. That's when it suddenly hit me that maybe I'll never be going back. And it continues to hit me that I know nothing about why I'm here, what happened to my mom, and what I'm going to do with my life if I'm never going back. That's why I'm crying, and that's why the crying cannot be stopped. The comfort of the known, which will never come back to me in exchange for charting the unknown, which is too much to bear. Oh, please help me. Taka? I turn my head around to the tender voice that calls out to my name. Eve?
Are you alright, Taka? Did something happen to you?
No, it's nothing. I'm fine. I should be fine. Well, I passed the barista test.
I see. Congratulations. Then you shouldn't be crying. You should be happy about it.
I know.
You're experiencing withdrawal, right?
Withdrawal?
When you work so hard to achieve your goal, and when it finally ends, you suddenly feel empty. Because you have nowhere to hide your negative energy anymore. Nowhere to hide how much the uncertainty is bearing upon you.
You're right.
Taka, I have something for you. It might be able to cheer you up.
What is it? Eve doesn't say another word. She slowly takes out from her pocket a photograph, a vintage photograph that I immediately recognize it for what it is. It can't be.
Taka, on the day we took this photo, we had the cameraman take it twice. The first one came out really blurry. The second one was fine, but we only got one copy. And your father said that I should keep the better one because he said that he will never forget your mother's face anyway. But I don't need this photo anymore, Taka. This is for you.
Really? I can have it? Just as Eve opens her mouth, she hesitates and closes her mouth again. She turns to the photo and makes one long stare, then gives it a long sigh.
Yes, of course you can have it. You need it more than anyone in this world. This is your mom's face, Taka. You should always keep this as a memory, no matter what happens.
I don't know what to say. I stare at the picture. For how long, I do not know. Oh, the guy next to my father is the guy in the mask. Whatever his name is. The brass mask. As if my soul is embracing the photo, and only when it returns to my body do I realize Eve had already left. I turn towards the picture again and look into my mother's eyes. Under the sepia-tinted photo, I can imagine she has brown eyes just like mine, her long brown hair like mine. She's my mom. I look just like her. She is the mom in my blurry dreams, but she is no longer an abstract in my memories. She now has a face that I can associate with. Tears keep flowing like an endless river, but these are happy tears. I've finally come one step closer to finding my mom. The world I'm in right now might still feel alien to me, but I'm going to keep moving on, because there is a purpose for me being here. My purpose, to rediscover all the secrets that lie within our family, and all those lost memories. I'll pick them up, fragment, and put them back together. I will not let these memories die away, never. I will work as hard as I can to fight for another day, so that one day I will be reunited with my happiness. The happiness that is deservingly mine. Ooh, we got half a heart from Ocean that time. Chapter 7. Okay, why don't we stop it there? This is Autopostrophe. You've been watching Caffeine, Victoria's Legacy, running on Nintendo Switch. Yeah, I mean, that's a very, like, touching little, 2 chapters that we played through. You know, I don't get all the super nerdy talk about coffee. I think this is well beyond my area of expertise, even though I love coffee. I'm certainly not this kind of coffee person. But regardless of that, I think I think this is like a well-woven tale of characters in a weird situation. At least our main character being in a weird situation, and you know, I think we're starting to get more into the depth of the characters and how they feel. And you know, I was worried a little bit about these being characters that are going to be too shallow, just kind of based on the whole harem idea. But it's turning out that these are going to be more complex characters, and we're going to get a better story out of that for that reason. So, yeah, definitely check this game out. I mean, it's weird because if you're not a coffee person and you're not this deep into the making and brewing of coffee, then it may escape you a little bit, like it does me. But I think in the end, the story is what matters, and the character is what matters, and it does deliver on that. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching. I will see you at the next stream.